Hi, this is Judy Saalinger from Lasting Recovery, San Diego's premier outpatient alcohol and drug treatment center. And today we're talking about Today we're in part 2 of the progression of alcohol and drug addiction, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about how it develops and what are some of the symptoms and how can you recognize it in yourself, or a family member might be recognizing it in someone that you love and care about. Our thinking becomes so distorted about the effects of what we're doing and the consequences of that use that we begin believing more of our system of denial, that it's not really a problem, because we can't really do anything about it at that point, not consciously. So we find that it becomes more useful for social affairs, that people don't want to go anywhere unless they're under the influence. People go and smoke marijuana, do cocaine, do these other things in order to get high before a specific occasion. Having drinks at home before you get to the friend's house because you don't know when they're going to have drinks, and you might start going into some agitation, get irritable and anxious. Because at this point the alcohol or the substances are really beginning to make an adaptation to your brain chemistry. And we use the term hijacking, that the brain has been hijacked. And so, in other words, the chemicals from the substances are attaching to the chemicals in your brain, and your brain wants to have it. I always think that it's like little Pac-Man in our brain saying, gimme, 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 And it's the idea that this attachment is what drives you into more substance use. People find that this is called the loss of control stage. And in this loss of control stage, there's more blackouts, there's more embarrassing episodes. Sometimes people will find that they are so embarrassed by the behaviors that they have, or they've broken their rules of drinking and driving, that they won't leave home in their drinking. They will just stay at home, stay in their room. And so they buy sufficient quantities on the way home, for example, in order to have the substance use. And then they are in the process of developing rituals. And the rituals could start in the morning, to remember that they have money in their pocket, and they know exactly where they're going to go at what time to pick up the substances to use that night, for example, on the way home from work. So there's a pattern, because one of the things that occurs is that the desire for alcohol starts earlier and earlier in the day. So where most people think, well, I'm not an alcoholic because I don't drink at 9 o'clock in the morning, so therefore I couldn't be an alcoholic. But that's the next stage. So during this middle stage, people will start having preoccupation. In other words, they think about it maybe starting 12, 1 o'clock. They think about what they're going to drink, or they think about what they're going to eat, and then what they're going to drink with it. And that starts just as kind of a thought process that goes on to the point that then they have a hard time concentrating sometimes at work, so they'll leave early so that they can go have more drinks or go meet up with friends to do drugs. So it's a matter of the progression starting earlier and earlier in one's life. It's at this point that marriages get into trouble, relationships where someone is isolating, where they have personality changes. They may be gentle, sweet souls while they're sober, but when they're angry, when they're drinking. I had a man come in the other day, small children. He said, I couldn't believe it. He said, I picked up a plate and threw it up against a wall, and my wife's pregnant. He said, I would never have done that had I not been under the influence. And he and his wife decided that he needed some help and that it was a problem. So it's different kinds of situations at this juncture in middle stage treatment that will take somebody to call Lasting Recovery, for example, or call an outpatient treatment center to see if you can get some help and still maintain your job and have your relationships with your family. So this stage can go on for any number of years. It just gets progressively worse. In other words, there's more substances consumed, there's more money spent, there's more damaged relationships, job losses, and that as we finish up that stage of stage 2. Next, we're going to be talking about stage 3, that final progression of addiction. Thank you.